That's a good
Chick-fil-A.
one.
I was probably eating Chick-fil-A every day. Every day, yeah.
Whoa. That's how I want to be living.
Girl, the fact that you're even thinking like this just tells me that you're going to be a good mother. Like,
Hello, everyone. You're listening to Baby Steps, sponsored by Oxford and Soho Baby, a podcast dedicated to exploring the personal and emotional journeys of parenting. I'm your host. My name is Medea. Today I have Samara, lifestyle content creator, author, and pharmacist, and mother of one. Samara, welcome to the show.
thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me, Medea.
Of course. So, we're going to start with something called the Fast Five, where I ask you five questions back to back and you answer with the first thing that comes to your head.
Okay. Ooh.
All right. First question. Biggest pregnancy craving?
Ooh, okay. Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that's probably the best one I've heard so far. That's a good
Chick-fil-A.
one.
I was probably eating Chick-fil-A every day. Every day, yeah.
Whoa. That's how I want to be living. Okay, next. Which is worse? You run out of diapers or you run out of wipes?
Ooh. Um, Running out of diapers. I feel like wipes, and that's because I had an experience with that. I was actually shopping, me and my fiance, we were in the store, and my daughter, this is when she was like a couple of months old, maybe 6 months old, she ended up having a blowout. We ran out of diapers. So, we had to hurry up and rush home because I was like, my baby is dirty right now. So I would say running out of diapers was like the big thing because it's like if you have wipes, you're good, but it's like okay, your baby still needs to be covered, So I would say diapers.
Okay, that's a good one. One word to describe labor and one word to describe parenthood.
So labor, I would say beautiful. Parenthood, ooh, because it's like a mixed combination word. I would say, emotional.
Those are very good. I like that. Favorite baby product you can't live without?
Okay, so favorite baby product would be the what was it? It was the Baby Brezza formula maker. Oh my gosh, girl. When they came out with that, it literally just makes your baby's bottle within seconds. And so you don't have to like manually scoop and things like that. You just press the button, the baby's milk is ready to go. However many ounces you need, good to go. It's almost like a coffee shop. Like you're going into Starbucks and say, "Hey, I need 8 ounces." You go about your day. Yeah, I could not live without that product. Like I think every parent needs it.
That sounds so nice. So the baby Brezza.
Baby Brezza, and it was like a formula maker. You just put your formula in there, and it literally put formula, and then it puts like you put your water. You can even like set your settings for the water, make it warm, super warm, or just room temperature. And yeah, that's it.
That sounds so nice. How do they come up with this stuff?
Girl, my mom was like, "Why they didn't have that when you was born?" I'm like, "Girl, I don't know, but we got it now."
As long as we have it now. Last question. Most unexpected joy of motherhood.
Most unexpected joy of motherhood would be, um, I would say just being with my daughter all of the time. I thought that I would probably be annoyed, but no, like my daughter is so fun. She's down to earth. She's just a chill baby. Like she's just so fun to be around. So that's what I enjoy the most. I enjoy just seeing her blossom and learning a new skill and just kind of showing me. And it's just like, wow, like you're so smart. So I would say that.
Wow, yeah, creating that bond and seeing her grow.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Mhm.
On to the real questions now. What were some of the most memorable moments during your pregnancy?
Yeah, so memorable moment I would say was finding out about being pregnant. So right before I found out I was going to be pregnant with my daughter was I was getting done with a very hectic and stressful residency program. So I just thought life was over at that point because I was just so like over it. But I actually found out that I was having Samaya, who was my daughter, right on my birthday. So I actually graduated getting closer to my birthday month. And I just knew something was up. I was like, okay, like I knew my menstrual cycles were pretty like unbalanced throughout the month. So I thought, okay, maybe it'll be at the end of the month, whatever. It never came. And usually it's about 3 days. But it was like May 30th. And I was like, nah, something is up. So I literally waited until June 1st, which I don't know why I waited that long. And I seen the pregnancy test and I was like, wow, I am pregnant.
That's the
So
best birthday present.
right, exactly. So all of the plans, like going out, drinking and stuff, all of that was canceled. And I just remembered having to like kind of like be secretive about it because I didn't want to tell my friends right away. I just wanted to like kind of like have the emotions to myself at that moment. So I just remember counseling everything and telling them like making up some like excuse like, oh, I don't feel good or something. I don't know. But all that time, my best friend, she knew. She was like, girl, you couldn't fool me. So,
Best friends always
right.
know.
So that was I would say that was the most memorable moment of my pregnancy. Throughout pregnancy, I felt very beautiful, just very loved on by like my community, my family and friends. So just lots of laughs and lots of food. I was always made a plate. Um, like everyone made sure I ate something. So that would
Mhm.
be something also memorable as well.
The food, the Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, definitely. She did not like Chipotle. We had a Chipotle scare. I had like almost half eaten the Chick-fil-A, I mean, not Chick-fil-A, but Chipotle bowl. And girl, I threw everything up. Never again have I went back to
Really?
Chipotle.
That's surprising because I feel like Chipotle is more natural stuff.
Girl, no. My daughter was like, what is this? Mm-mm.
Not for her.
Right. The only thing she liked was Chick-fil-A and home cooked meals. That was it. So
Okay. Okay. Did you receive any advice from friends, family, or healthcare providers that really stuck with you?
yeah. So while I was pregnant, of course, like you're such an emotional wreck as well. So I was nervous. I was scared, I would say. I was scared of being pregnant. I was scared of failing as being a mom, a first time mom. I didn't know what to do. And I remember talking to one of my good friends. And I was like, girl, like I'm so scared. Like, what if I don't do this right? What if I don't do this right? And she just was like, girl, the fact that you're even thinking like this just tells me that you're going to be a good mother. Like, relax. It's going to be fine. Just go through the whole experience of pregnancy and just take it day by day. And from then on, that's what I did. I took it day by day and just enjoyed the whole process of it. And I think that was one of the best advice that I received throughout my whole pregnancy.
Yeah, you can't control everything. You don't know what's going to happen. Just taking it one step at a time is so important.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love
100%.
that. What's one piece of advice you heard about motherhood that turned out to be totally wrong?
Yeah. There's so many. One piece of advice that someone tried to, I guess, give to me that I did not receive was that having girls were very hard to handle as far as parenting. They have a bad attitude, all of that stuff, right? Um, I think it's just the way that you kind of parent your child is the way that they kind of reflect and give off their character and their personality because my child is not like that at all. So I'm happy I did not listen to that because I feel like if I would have, the narrative, the environment will probably be a little bit more different than it is now. Another advice would be that hey, when you have kids, old girl, it's gonna take over your life. You're gonna be stuck to your child. You're not gonna be able to hang out with your friends. Like you're not gonna have a social life. Basically, you're not gonna be like your old version of yourself, which is kind of true. It's not gonna be the old you're not going to be your old self again. After you have a baby, it's completely different. Your body has changed. I feel like your frontal lobe is more developed now. You kind of see a little bit clearer now. But as far as not having a social life outside of having a baby, that's not true because I feel like I've been living my best life since having my daughter. I mean, we've been going to Disney World. I mean, all different types of shows. We have been doing a lot of things. I've been traveling with work and with other things I have going on in my life. So I just feel like my life has definitely just improved much more of having my daughter. So I would say those would be some of the advices
Yeah,
that
it's
would.
about balance. It's not like, oh, now your life is over. No, it's like it's balance. It's how you deal with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, very
Right.
true.
Mhm.
What's the most surprising part of pregnancy or birth that no one warned you about?
Having an emergency C-section. So my mom, luckily, fortunately for her, for all three of her kids, including myself, she was able to give birth naturally. But me, I was thinking, so I wanted to do a water birth. And I went through the whole process of meeting with my midwife, having my doula by my side, just going through the whole motion, right? We never planned for an emergency C-section because we believed that my daughter was going to be roughly 6 to 7 pounds. That was not the case. My child, I don't know how she was positioned in my stomach, but she was like squished in to the point where they couldn't get her full weight. So when she was actually born, when I had to undergo an emergency C-section, she was 10 and a half pounds.
Whoa.
10 and a half pounds. I was able to get in the water. So, hey, we got in the water, but I was in labor for about 2 weeks. And that was because my child could not get out. And thank God she was so smart and brave of letting me know to say, hey, mom, I can't come out. Like, cause I can feel her coming out, but then she would hurry up and come back. And so, like, my doctor, when he finally like seen the scans, he was like, the way she's positioned, like, we can't like manually push her out. So we have to go through the C-section. I was terrified. When I say we did not prepare for an emergency C-section for any reason, which I don't understand why we didn't, I was just so scared. It was just like too soon. Everyone was freaking out who was there to support me. It was a lot going on in that room. But we are here healthy and thriving. So that's all I can say is thank God for that.
Yeah, so the water birth, was that in your home or at?
So it was at the birthing center, and then from the birthing center, thank God, like the hospital was about 5 minutes away.
Okay.
So yeah, so I didn't do it at home, simply because like the insurance here in Texas, it's a little bit more pricier, and I was just like, I'm not trying to pay all of that money just to have it at my house. So we did it at the birthing center. We tried to deliver there, but she just wasn't able to come out, and so we had to kind of go to the hospital because that's when the midwife decided like, hey, I don't want you to be at risk for an infection or a severe infection that can really put you at some precautionaries or cautions altogether.
So were you at the birthing center for 2 weeks?
No, so I was at home for so she was expected to be born January 14th. So I believe that was like MLK Day. So January 14th, I remember like I was done with work, I was on my maternity leave, and I just felt the contractions, but they weren't as like strong. So I was able to kind of like deal with them, like I could walk it off and things like that. And then, so that was 1 week. So I went to go get my checkup. They were monitoring because, like, with the water birth, they go based on the baby. So whenever the baby is ready to come out, that's when you kind of give birth. It's not like induced or anything like that. So, we're going through the motions. My midwife is like, okay, baby is good. Baby is, 8 pounds, 7 pounds, whatever it was back then. And then the week later, after the 14th, that's when me and my fiance was like, okay, like, what's going on? Like, at that time, I'm like ready to have my daughter because I was so big at that time. I was nothing but belly. I could barely like handle my breath or get or have a breath at least. Like, I was just tired. Like, I was at 9 months of carrying my child. So I was like, okay, what's going on? So the week after passed and still nothing. But then, like, towards the end of that week, that's when my water like broke. And so my mom was like, "Hey, let's call the midwife." And the midwife had said, "Okay, let's come in. Let's see if we can kind of get some movement going and things of that nature." We got there. They put me on Pitocin, girl. That's when like my contractions were starting to get intense. I can feel like she was really trying to drop much lower. Um, Girl, I got that Pitocin. I was like all I went through 2 cans because again, this is non-medicated. I didn't have no medication. So imagine like I feel like with contractions, it feels like you're getting electrocuted. Like I've never been electrocuted before, but that's what it felt like just in your stomach and then it goes to your back. So just imagine small electrocution moments. So
Oh my gosh.
I was going through it. And when I tell you that Pitocin was getting me through because it was like a temporary, like just relief, because that's when my contractions were like, boom, 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 like that 2 minutes of contractions and then 30-second break. Oh my gosh. It was rough. But we
Mhm.
got through it. We decided to get into the tub to see if my baby would try to come in or try to come out. I was in the tub for an hour and she would not come out. And they were like, okay, like something is wrong. Let's kind of get you out and let's see. I forgot what medication they gave to me to kind of help with the contractions. It wasn't Pitocin because they ran out of it. I went through so many Pitocin.
Oh
That's how
my gosh.
I was in so much pain. And we got into the bed, and she's like, okay, well, I think I was like maybe 5.5 centimeters dilated. She said, okay, if we get to 7 centimeters, we can start pushing. I only got to maybe 6 centimeters that morning, and my fiance was like, hey, we got to go to the doctor because it was just taking too long. And I was like going in and out. I was blacking out. I honestly forgot the moment that he even took me to the hospital. Like I forgot. I don't remember some of that because like when you're in so much pain like that, it's like, girl, like you're not even thinking about nothing around. You're just trying to like think about how to keep this pain from going and going. But we got there and the doctor was like, yeah, your placenta, not placenta, but your water has broken. We don't want you to be at risk for high infection. You have to undergo a C-section. And we went through a C-section. And coming to find out, my child was 10 and a half pounds. So she was squished in there. Like, I remember the feeling of my doctor actually going in there, like as if he's trying to scoop something out. It wasn't like, oh, hey, how you doing? It was like, going in there to pull her out. So she was really like just kind of stuck in there. So, yeah.
Wow, that's the first time I've heard a story like that. That sounds so painful.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm glad
In
you're
the
okay.
C-section, we were medicated. So the C-section, I didn't feel nothing. Thank God
Okay.
for that. But during the process for it, yeah, the contractions, they were pretty intense. Yeah.
Electrocutions. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, yeah. That's like honestly, I feel like that's probably the best way to describe contractions because people will tell me like even before that they would say, "Oh, contractions are like cramps, like having period cramps." And like me, I don't get period cramps. I'm like, "What does that feel like?" Like, but no,
Hmm.
it felt like electrocutions.
Oh gosh, I'm not looking forward to that. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Um, Final question.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to other parents listening right now?
My advice would be to just do what you think is best for you and your baby. Of course, listen to other parents because maybe some of the things that they do for their child may work for your child as well. But kind of take every outside advice by the grain of salt. Like, don't focus on everyone else's kid, focus on your child. And just know that everything that you feel that you are doing best for your child, you are doing the best that you can. Like, never compare yourself to other parenting skills.
Oh, I love that. Don't compare.
Yes,
Every child is different, every parent is different. If you start
exactly.
comparing, you're going to feel like you're not doing enough. Yeah, that's
You take
very
away just the
important.
special moments too, like, because you're always like, oh, well, my baby didn't get to say dada at 2 months. Like, like when you start hearing that, it's like you feel like you're in a competition. It's just like, no, like your baby is a baby and they're going to feel comfortable enough to let you know, like, hey, dada, mama, or, when they start walking, because so many people, oh, my baby didn't start walking until 2. Like, they feel like it's a deadline. There's no deadline, just like with us as adults. There's no deadline of us going back to school to get our doctorate degree or whatever degree that we aspire to have. So don't put too much pressure on your baby. Like they just got here. They're like looking around trying to see like, what is this?
What's going on?
What is this world? Like, like just let them kind of, get comfortable first before they just start blossoming. Because once they start blossoming, then you're gonna be like, all right, because it's gonna be going, going, going. Because that's how my daughter is. Like I was like, oh, when's she gonna say this? When's she gonna say mama? And girl, she says mom, mama. Like it's ongoing.
It all happens in due time.
Exactly. And when it comes, you're gonna be like, oh, now I see.
Hmm. It happens when it's supposed to.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that. That's all we have for today. Thank you for listening. Samara, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Of course. This is Baby Steps, sponsored by Oxford and Soho Baby. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
You've been listening to Baby Steps, sponsored by Oxford and Soho Baby. If you're in the market for a new crib, glider, dresser, or more, we'd love for you to check out our line of furniture. Head over to oxfordbabyandkids.com or sohobaby.com. All links are within the show notes. For more information as a listener, enter the code podcast10 for 10% off your total purchase, plus free shipping on all orders over $799. Thanks for listening and tune into our next episode. Bye for now, and remember, every step is a step towards progress. We hope today's story gives you the confidence and the assurance that every journey is different, but we do it together.